another episode of irRational Moms. We're coming to you from your favorite neighborhood, MILF Estates. If you don't know where that is, you can just Google it. Okay, I have so much to talk about for this last weekend of football. Annabelle, we really need to get into like Sunday night football, the Chiefs versus the Jets, and the MILF lover, Zach Wilson.
That's right. And I would much rather focus on Zach Wilson than Taylor Swift, if I'm being honest. I think the world has had enough of Taylor Swift by NFL. Or, you know, when people write that with the X. It's just enough. Like, God, the NFL changed like their header or so, in their bio to say, we had so much fun with you, and put Taylor Swift's picture. And football fans are like, come on, that's enough. Like, that's enough.
Right? Is it even real? I don't believe it.
I don't believe it's real. There's no way that's
a sham.
real.
There's no chemistry.
I don't know why they would be doing it, because they're both famous and make tons of money. Like, I don't understand what the PR needs to be about.
No. It's a good marketing. Think about it. If you want to bring in like a really young base, and especially because if you're YouTube and your YouTube base is mainly that young population, your demographic is. So if you want to boost up that money for the Sunday, for your Sunday ticket, you're going to get Taylor Swift in there. And who else? Kelsey's all over like Saturday Night Live, and so he has this big persona right now going on. So this is perfect. So whoever did this is a marketing genius. Think about it, because you're bringing in all this young demographic of viewership into the Sunday ticket, and now they're going to have to, if they don't already have YouTube, which I'm sure they do, YouTube TV, they're having to buy that. Then they're having to spend like $300-400 to watch these shows
for the Sunday ticket. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
see, that's cool. And they said that like they haven't had this high of viewership since the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
See, that's the only way it makes sense to me, is if it's the NFL driving it, because Taylor herself doesn't need that. Travis doesn't need that either. It makes sense because they're getting, hundreds of thousands of new fans coming to the NFL. So that's to me the only scenario that makes sense, because I still just don't see it. And the fact that the NFL is like leaning into it so hard, like somebody was talking about how they were actually showing a preview of her movie or documentary or something she made. I don't know, because I don't care. But they were like advertising it in the stadium, and people were booing. So I'm like, this is very strange.
They're going too hard with it, and it's only a one-sided thing, because I think there was plenty of football fans, even like men, who like Taylor Swift. Like, wasn't Aaron Rodgers next future husband, wasn't he was like at one of her concerts and everything. So I'm just like, you have one side where the guys secretly were listening anyways, but now you have all these females that don't interact with the football world, and now they're coming in. But I just think when it crashes down, it's going to crash hard, because Taylor Swift fans don't play. Okay,
I know he's gonna be like ruined. What was it I can't remember if you said this on the podcast last week or not, when you Triss, when you were saying what it should be called, her album is going to be called?
Oh, Travesty. It's going to be called Travesty. It's going to be lit, and I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. But yeah, I do think that she's not stupid, so she's either ignoring red flags or she's actively seeking them out, so that way her content's good. Like, I don't blame her for that.
Or she's just part of the marketing thing, because, I mean...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's a brilliant businesswoman. I mean, let's not get that wrong. I mean, so she makes... I mean, she's worth, like, what? Probably billions of dollars?
750,000, I think. I mean,
million?
Million, sorry.
I was like, whoa, no, it's got to be way different than that.
Okay, so almost $1 billion, right? So she's brilliant, and so she sees this opportunity here, and so why not? Because think about it, YouTube had to spend $2 billion to get the rights to the Sunday ticket, right? So why not do this? And, okay, another thing is, on Sunday morning, I had to get up early to drive one of my kids to like this volunteer activity. Came back in. I was watching TV early in the morning, and there was a football game on in London, right? And then they had the whole Toy Story thing. Did you see that? Where it was like a Toy Story. So they're trying to bring kids in to watching like the NFL. And so they had it all. It was the Jaguars and...
Do you mean in the Falcons? But do you mean at the stadium or on TV, like in the commercials?
On TV. So you could either watch the live game, but the Toy Story version was live too, and it was really good. It was really interactive. And then during like halftime, they're like, okay, Planet is it Planet Pizza? So they're like, Planet Pizza's coming in, and they're like, ooh, piping hot. And then they had the toy soldiers like, you know, coming in, like watching. I mean, it was really, really well done. And the way they actually scripted everything too, to make it where, I mean, I was going to say scripted, but into the sense where they were explaining why certain calls were being made. And they were talking as if they were talking to children. Like, oh, he has the ball, and he's going to try to do this with the ball. And now it got, the refs called this, and it's because of, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, this is really, they're really trying to get more, you know, viewership in the younger demographic.
That's wild.
So, yeah, and it was actually pretty entertaining. I watched it for a while.
Was it better or worse than listening to Eli and Peyton Manning call Monday Night Football? Because I can absolutely, I like them, but I cannot listen to them, their broadcast of the game. Like, I cannot. They just don't shut the F up the whole time. I have to always switch it to the, like when I accidentally turn that on, I have to take it away.
Me too. I can't watch them either. The only thing I actually like about them is that they did this whole short. There was like these little videos they were doing about like who their new like
on their show.
Gonna be on their show, right? And they had Mahomes, they had Brady, and they had like Reese Witherspoon, and I'm like, that was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
But their show themselves is boring.
They're funny guys generally, and like some of my favorite things I've ever seen is like Peyton Manning talking to Marshawn Lynch. Like, that's because Marshawn Lynch to me is one of the funniest people ever on the planet to even exist. But like, so some stuff's funny, but it's like for some reason their broadcast just kills me. And last night though, Monday Night Football was, I mean, oh shit, hold on, I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang it. What the heck was I gonna say?
It was brutal. That's all you gotta say. It was brutal.
It was brutal. And you know, watching, like, part of me feels bad for Daniel Jones, but the part of me that knows he makes $40 million to be absolutely garbage doesn't feel bad for him. But I was watching like his O-line, and I'm like, does his O-line hate him, or are they just really that terrible? And it made me like almost appreciate the Rams O-line, because I'm always frustrated because, you know, they've not done a great. Last year was terrible, and this year they've been good in some games and bad in some games. I'm like, damn, the Rams have a way better O-line than the Giants, because I mean, Daniel Jones got sacked like 11 times last night, I think, and I mean, it was pretty ugly, I gotta say.
Well, I missed it. It was Grandma Poindexter's birthday, so we had to take her to get a hamburger. So.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Didn't get her a stripper? You know that's what she really wanted.
We tried. She said no.
Yeah.
We continue to try. We like, come on. We know you want this, and she's just like, no.
Well, she still owes me a day of baking, and I don't mean the kind in the kitchen. She promised. So I make that happen.
Yes.
I gave her some gummies one time, and she took one, and she was like, nope, did not like that.
You know, she needs something because, like, she's, like, off the, like, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm like, you need to chill the F out, man. I'm like, just take it down a little bit. I'm like, maybe you just need to get laid. I think that's what it is. It's been a long time. And
I feel like that's a solution to almost anything. Anything, the solution. Get laid, you're going to feel better no matter what.
I was talking about that last night to my fans. I'm like, all these women that are really upset, and I'm like, you're really high strung because you have not had a good orgasm in a long time. Come on. I mean, I don't want to go off on this too much, but I'm like, but come on, just like really like get back on the horse.
Right. Like, if you have a headache, have sex. It makes it better. That headache shouldn't be
that's
an excuse.
That's such an excuse. I feel like that's just you, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's scientific, that it gets rid of a headache. I don't know if it has to do with like the whole, like you're holding your breath some of the time, but I don't know. Anyways.
Endorphins and you relax, I guess. I don't know. But it definitely helps me. And I suffer from terrible migraines, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. At least I'll feel a little better after.
Like, my head hurts. Let's do this thing.
Come on, I need some all-natural medicine.
Okay, but can we go back to Zach Wilson and like how he just loves, like, he loves MILFs. I would love to have him on the show sometime, you know, because I think and he needs some MILF Estates gear too. So we need to figure out how to like send him some.
There's I have a couple players I know across sports that I know, like, they'll have on like a MILF Lover t-shirt or something. I'm like, we got to send these guys some stuff and see if they want to chat with us.
I've already ordered my Throwing Bombs, Banging Moms shirt in support from Barstool. They have all the best stuff.
I like that.
They do.
That's a good idea. Poor little Zach Wilson. He actually wasn't terrible once he started doing okay in the game the other day. I mean,
I've read a couple of things yesterday that said he was the first quarterback since Mahomes has been in college to outplay him stat-wise. Now, at the end of the day, he didn't get the W, which is what really counts, but he did outplay him statistically, which I was very surprised by. So, I don't know.
Wow. But Mahomes played like absolute hot dog water on Sunday.
He played bad. He
was terrible. And it happens. He's still but the thing about him that makes him so great is he can still somehow figure out a way to win most of the time. Yeah. So that's what does it. But did you guys see after there was I forgot which reporter it was, but he was interviewing Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Chiefs, and he was like, I mean, he's kind of like trying to get him to say bad stuff about Zach Wilson. He's like, I mean, what did you think about him? And Chris Jones is so nice. Like says something nice about Zach Wilson. Like he's getting better. You got to give him time. He goes, come on, man. He's garbage. And Chris Jones is just like, not going to say that. Absolutely not. I'm like, why are y'all, that doesn't feel,
let's go.
Like, why are you trying to get him to do that? Yeah, it was trying to bait him, but the reporter, whoever it was, I can't remember people's names hardly, but he had to apologize, I guess, to Zach and the Jets because that's pretty shitty. I mean, you're a sideline reporter. You might like a team or not like somebody, but you shouldn't be like actually trashing the people that you're talking about. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I kind of felt like Zach Wilson kind of got into a rhythm, like as the game progressed. So like the first quarter, he was like a little shaky, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, look it's going to be like a blowout. It's going to be a slow game, 17-0. It's going to be like, And then all of a sudden, like they started coming back, and then Mahomes, threw a couple interceptions, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? Come on, get together.
This is like the Kardashian curse, okay? This whole Taylor Swift thing, they say that about the Kardashians. They start dating like these players, and then all of a sudden their game just goes to shit. I'm not putting that on Mahomes. I'm just saying, because it's not even like on him, but I do feel like there's so much like direction towards their box.
There's some weird juju. I feel like
but definitely. I definitely think they need to have their focus on the game and not all of the ridiculousness going on otherwise.
I think so too.
Other places.
I don't know. Clearly nobody's had enough coffee today.
Yes. This is all I've had, just this little bit.
Oh my God! So tell us about this shirt, Tris.
Oh yeah.
Even though the Dolphins,
is that a Miami Dolphins shirt, or are you just happy to see me?
She loves the D. I do. I'm supporting them. I know. Although their defense wasn't that great.
What happened on those?
I don't know. I just think like I'm not gonna let it, basically decide the rest of the season or anything like that. I think it was just like the first quarter I was like, oh hey, okay, we're back and forth, it's gonna be a good game. And then it was like in the second quarter nobody could keep their hands on the ball. I was like, what do you guys do? Like it kept getting knocked out, and then one of the times it was knocked out, like it was turned over. So I'm just like, okay, this is going downhill quickly. But I think it'll be okay. Just they got to do like some more of the little things. I think if they really watch the tapes back and just get their crap together.
Everybody has bad games. Like, remember last year the Eagles were undefeated, I think, till they played the Commanders, and they got beat, and people were like, the fuck? Like, that's just bonkers. But they'll recover. I mean, is Jalen Ramsey back from his injury or whatever, or is he still out?
Oh.
I think he's still out, but... we were sad to see him go, but I don't think I've seen him even dressed out. I've seen him on the sideline, I think, but I didn't get a chance to watch the game Sunday. We had a birthday party for one of my brats, so I did watch the Rams game, but that was kind of and the Chiefs game, I guess. So I'm like, I turned it on my phone in the car and listened to it. And the Rams pulled out a win, and I was very honestly surprised. There's something about Matthew Stafford when he goes to like this place, and I've seen it happen like when he played in Detroit. He would get injured sometimes, and then he just goes into this mode where he's like frightening to look at almost. And he's so focused, and he's just like, let's go. Let's get this over with. We're going to go score a touchdown. We're not settling for a field goal. And he was good on Sunday. I mean, he looked good. He got hurt because the O-line isn't great. But he says he's still going to play. So I'm pretty excited about that. And he's got that cute little rookie receiver, Puka Nakua. Have you guys seen him? He's like...
Wait, say his name again?
I think it's Puka Nakua. He's Polynesian, I believe.
I love it.
And he is so freaking cool. That kid is like... Watching him, it's like an 8-year-old when they open their Santa gifts. He's like so excited and happy to be there. It's like, I kind of hate feel-good stories, but sports, I'll allow it. And he's just like so heartwarming. This kid's so pumped up to be there. And he's been like basically following Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp around like a little puppy, you know, being like soaking in all the knowledge. And I mean, you can tell he's going to be something.
See, this is why when we do our MILF Estates fantasy draft, I feel like I'm going to be the one picking everybody based on how cute they are. I don't know enough about stats, but I'm like, you're next in line. You're on my starting lineup.
Ooh, you know,
I do the same thing where I'm like, ooh, did you see him? He took his helmet off. Damn!
Okay, so I have a question. I don't care who answers first. Who is I don't know if I should say hottest or sexiest. Who is the NFL player that you find the most attractive? You can give two because
current or is it current or
current players. Who would you just be like, hall pass, let's go?
I mean,
is it Tua?
Well, actually, no, Tua's cute, but I mean, I think even though Aaron Rodgers isn't active, I'll just nurse him back to.
Oh no, he counts because he's still an actual player
on the
currently
roster.
playing. Yeah, I meant not like someone from 20 years ago, basically.
And you know, he looks pretty good right now. Like he has a little mustache going on.
He looks like my dad. It's such a without his hair and stuff. I'm like, look at that dad sitting up in the stands.
That's a win. I'm all about that dad bod, girl. Give me that.
Oh, he's got a good body. No, I'm not gonna lie about that. But.
It's not no dad bod.
No.
Yeah, he's sexy. I don't usually like super long hair, although my throwback one would have been Matthews, and of course he had like way long hair, but he was also like sexy Viking looking kind of situation.
Yeah. What about you, Poindexter?
I don't think I would ever sleep with any NFL.
No, I'm not saying who would you sleep with.
Not after the conversation we had the other day.
First of all, that's bullshit. However, but who would you the one that you think's the hottest?
Oh, geez. I mean, there's so many of them. I would have to put them like their names in a hat and then pick one out.
I have two. So mine, I feel like for me, there's a tie between Jalen Hurts and Bobby Wagner.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Might fight you on those.
I would. I mean, if we could have both, we could just take turns. But, dude, he is so sexy. And there's something about his voice.
Oh. Tag me in.
When he's like, keep the main thing the main thing. I'm like, oh, my God. Even though it's like a really simple thing to say, I was like, whoa. That's so sexy.
See, you know, and like... Men are just like, women don't pay attention to football. We do. I mean, some of us actually really like football, but we also like looking at, I mean, I'm sorry, there are just some nice looking men out there.
Yes,
tight ends, yes.
And everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, keep running. I want to see those warm-ups. Get those knees up.
Oh, my gosh. Did you guys see, so I knew about this but forgot. So the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers had a special episode with Chris Jones on it.
Oh, I didn't see
and
that
he was
one.
telling the story about his combine performance when he was running the 40. So basically he was, they're in this tiny little room and it's kind of dark. So he just grabbed some shorts to wear. He didn't want to wear long tights. So he puts on, because, they have those little shirts. And so he puts on what he thinks, I think, are like running shorts, tight, the tight
I can
kind.
see where this is going.
And while he's doing the 40, which I think is televised live, his dick fell out. Literally fell completely out. And I didn't realize, though, I knew about this event, but I didn't realize that you could actually see it on the broadcast cameras. But so, of course, after I listened to the podcast, I'm like, well, I got to go see this now. And literally on YouTube, you can see it. And what he didn't realize is they were actually boxer shorts. So as he's running, he's almost at the end. He feels it like fall out on his leg. So he literally he takes a dive and goes down on the ground because he knows the cameras are on him. So, and then you see him as he's laying on the ground, kind of lift his hips up and put it back in.
Champagne problems. Although I'm not a size queen, but
I know that's what Jason Kelsey was like. Man, I'm impressed you can even call it falling out. He's like, I don't think I can say that about mine.
Middle name is Baby Leg.
Seriously, tripped over the third leg. Yeah, so I thought that was very.
Oh
so
my goodness!
Yeah. I'm like, can I slow it down and do? Yeah, I'm like, so let's put it in slow mo.
I need to see that.
Yep, 100%.
But I want to know, like, did that hurt? Like when he slid on his stomach? I mean, it had to be like, ugh.
I think he put his hands first. He almost
okay.
It was kind of
He's
awkward, but
protecting
more like a
himself.
baseball
Okay.
slide, kind of.
Okay.
It's not like he fell and tumbled. He literally dove. He dove like he was diving on a slip and slide. That's what he did.
Well, still, that had to hurt, right? Because it's like everything's exposed, right, on the grass or the turf or whatever he's on. It's got to be like, ooh.
It looked like it was his hands and maybe his chest would have hit the ground and kind of slid. So yeah, that was
you don't want to slide your thing off, you know.
yeah,
you don't want carpet burn there.
That would be horrible.
I'm gonna say no to carpet burn.
Oh my god, I don't even know how we talk about snacks now after that.
I would snack on that.
Perfect, literally the perfect intro to snacks. What are you talking about?
I would snack on that 100%. He's a good-looking man.
Okay. Did not see this whole conversation
I
coming.
didn't either. I had no intention of talking about that.
But I really, now I'm going to have to go Google this, like, YouTube video. I need
You
to
won't
see
regret
more. Yeah, okay. I'm going to be looking at him differently at this point.
Right?
All right. So what do we have for snacks this week that do not involve hot dogs?
Oh my gosh! Although I would love
No
a
Slim
good
Jims.
ballpark hot dog. Yeah, no. I'm trying to keep it to snacks that I actually eat. Eventually, I'm gonna have to like come up with some cool ones, but because I have a balance. I have a balance of my Oreo jar. I also DoorDashed like $60 worth of Baskin Robbins like 2 days ago.
Oh my God. Did it come was it still frozen or was it melted?
It was that good in the middle where it's starting to get a little melty.
You can
on
scoop
top.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I like to have variety. I'm just saying. So like, anytime I go out to eat, typically my eyes are bigger than my stomach because I'm like, ooh, I need to have like.
Yeah, I've seen your Waffle House. I've seen your Waffle House order. It's like it takes up the whole table.
Yeah, like when I would go to sushi restaurants, I'd be like, oh, I like these 2 rolls, but then I want to try this different one and this different one. But anyways, okay, so my snack of the week is going to be, these are one of my favorites, these apple cinnamon, they're basically like little rice cake chips.
Oh, yeah. I love the cheddar ones.
Even if you don't like rice cakes, they don't really taste the same to me, but the apple cinnamon ones are so good. I don't know how many servings. This says 3.5 servings. I don't know if I believe that. We'll say maybe 2-ish. They're going on 2 servings.
2 if it's during the day. At night, it's 1.
I'm kind of disappointed in this because that's really healthy.
I know, but sometimes I crave a little more healthier and I'm trying to have a good balance and be better. I have a bunch of fruit upstairs actually. When I'm done, I need to go like cut it up and make it healthy.
Sorry.
Do I feel like what?
Do you feel like the fruit, like I don't do anything to the fruit until I'm ready to eat that particular amount because I feel like it goes bad faster as soon as you wash it or cut it or whatever.
Yeah. No, when I make the jars, I cut up strawberries and I put blueberries in there, and it usually in these little mason jars, I mean, they'll last about a week.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too bad. I don't know if it's because of the mason jar or what, but
Or does the vinegar help somehow preserve it? Because
possibly. I don't always use the vinegar personally, unless you wash them off like really well. I need to get one of those things. I'm sure you know, being a chef, like you put the fruit and you can put like lettuce in there and like you turn this little handle and it gets all the water off.
salad
I used to have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Salad
salad
spinner.
spinner. Salad spinner, yeah. But like I need to get one for my fruit just because that would be more helpful.
I think it would actually bruise the fruit.
Yeah, I
Like
think
raspberries.
so too. What I do
Yeah.
if I am doing a bunch is I use the little quarter sheet trays like we have in the restaurant, and I put a towel down, like a tea towel, and then lay all the fruit in a flat single layer. And I'll do this whether I'm washing it or if I'm just storing it, because when it's piled up, it tends to get mushy and will rot faster. But if you like lay them out flat, you know, there's not like a pile of strawberries on top of each other, or same with like even little tomatoes or whatever, you know, because if they're stacked on each other, they go bad quicker. So anyway.
Yeah.
Little tip from the chef.
I'll have an unhealthy snack next time. So we've had 2 healthy ones. I almost did this. This was I'm
Baby
so
food.
hungry before the recording. No, although strawberry banana baby food, that is some good.
Oh my God.
This is me eating my kids' snacks. This apple cinnamon. See, again, apple cinnamon. Anything cinnamon.
Oh, yeah.
Applesauce. But I go through applesauce packets like crazy.
Why don't you just buy a big jar? Not as fun?
Well, yeah, I try to control myself. If I just had a jar of it, I would like put a whole pint glass full of it and put a straw
gotcha.
in there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what when I had my boobs done, Dr. Hall's little, like the Serenity or whatever the place that takes care of you afterwards, they brought me a whole like pint glass full of applesauce with a straw, and I was like, this is brilliant. This is the best thing ever. I don't have to do anything, just drink it. And they realized that I loved the applesauce. They had like 3 different flavors. So at one point I just had all these like pint jar like glasses on my counter because they were bringing me multiple flavors at a time.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like applesauce.
So, again, my freaking mic just went out. I swear to God, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like about ready to take the mic and throw it across the room. Yes, I kind of get that way sometimes, and it's upset. Okay, but I mean, I know you can't read my mind, Tris, but I think that's
Right?
what women are always like, why can't a guy read my mind? Like, why can't you take that garbage out? Right?
Right. I think that's like that's part of the issue. Communication. I know that maybe sounds like kind of cheesy. Everybody's like, oh, great. But it is incredible to me. I like to listen to audiobooks and stuff. And there was one book that I was listening to that was talking about how like something that we like just festers in our mind and we're like, what did they mean by this? Like, do they not love me? Or whatever the issue is that you're thinking about in your head is not even on the other person's radar. And
Right.
like now that I'm trying to communicate more and like be better in that realm, there's so many times where I'm like, okay, this thing that really upset me, even if it's stupid, I just say it because now I'm like, either I know if it's relevant or if it's like rational, I guess I should say, or if it's
Irrational.
just something, irrational and I'm just being silly. Sometimes you just need to say it out loud. But yeah, it's incredible like how many times we think like, why doesn't this person reciprocate or why don't they do this? Because like sometimes that's just not on people's radar. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll fixate on something and just be so upset about it. Like, how do you not just know automatically to take the trash out, for example? Well,
Yeah.
they just fucking don't. So you just have to say it. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've learned is don't set your man up to fail. Like, don't expect a certain thing for your birthday if you've never communicated what you actually want. Don't be mad that he gave you red roses when you hate red roses if you never actually said, I don't like red roses. How would any man know that? It's the most common flower to just walk by and grab. So to me, I think that's part of us as we get older, and maybe why some guys like MILFs, because we can be more rational in certain ways. We can be like, oh, I'm self-aware. I know I'm being crazy. Or, oh, just tell him what I want. And if he doesn't want to do it, then we can talk about that. But if you just say it, it's most of the time, it's not a big deal.
I think that you're right about that though. Like being an older woman, you communicate better, not just in everyday things, but like in the bedroom kind of things. Like we're pretty open about like, I like this, I don't like that. And that is really the difference between interacting with somebody who's younger and somebody who knows what they want. We're not afraid to say
exactly. And I think that like for women, we just think that men they think the same way we do. And it's completely opposite. You just have to break it down like very easy. I need you to do this. And and just be very like plain about it. Like, I need you to take the garbage out. And like when I see these women like on these certain blogs or on the internet and they're really upset because they're like, is my husband like, am I the a-hole or is that my husband because he won't do this for me? And I'm like, are you actually asking him and telling him this is what you need? Because a lot of times you think what you're saying is like coming out and it's being taken a completely different way. And it's all about just breaking communication down very simple. Like if I say, hey, Annabelle, I need you to make me some food.
Right. She's like, can you make nightly drunk nachos? And I'm like, yes, of course. But, and however, this is where women sort of do get the win sometimes. I know my best friend likes nachos at midnight when she's been drinking. Otherwise, she eats super healthy and clean all day, but I know she's going to want the nachos. So if I'm making nachos at midnight, I'm 100% going to make extra nachos because I know she wants some. And, but men just don't think like that most of the time. And it's not an insult to men. I mean, they're very simple creatures sometimes. If a man, I have to say, with Mr. Poindexter, he will say he doesn't want food. If I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to the Mexican place and get some food. Do you want something? He'll be like, no, I'm good. I always get him some of the food because he's going to be like, why did nobody get me food? He'll be enraged and incensed. But I'm like, I know you want food, Mr. Poindexter. So here, look, I got 3 extra things.
Right. And then I think also we have these expectations in our head of like what we think how a man should actually treat us and what they should be doing for us. And to me, I'm like, hey, actually have 0 expectations and then you won't be upset.
And that doesn't mean settle for bad behavior. It just means like creating false narratives or like arbitrary expectations just doesn't make sense to me. If it's something you really need.
It's the false narratives. It's like when you don't communicate it and your mind starts thinking like every possible scenario that's like the worst thing that could happen, and it's not even anything like what the actual situation is. So I think people just need to communicate. And I know some people, like men or women, are probably gonna be like, well, if I say something, they give me crap about it or they get upset. But like, honestly, if you can't communicate and just say, even if this is silly, it still upset me. If you can't say that and it be okay, then I mean, that could be your sign. Maybe that's your red flag that you can't communicate with that person. Like, you have to be able to do that.
Right. And but you do have to be willing, on top of that, you have to be willing to accept this person may be like, I never even thought about that in my life. I have no idea how you took that from what I said. You have to be willing, if someone says, I didn't mean it that way, you need to believe them. I mean, unless they've given you reason not to. But
right.
and don't just go be passive aggressive and, well, I don't believe they just said that. No, if they say like, oh, sorry, I didn't even think about that. Well, don't assume the worst, I think, is where I'm going with that. Like, don't assume their intentions are not good. Don't assume they're setting out to be a jerk or uncaring or something. A lot of times they're just not even thinking about, those memes where it'll show like, the guy's just like, the woman's got all these
she's like, I bet he's thinking about cheating right now. And then he's thinking about like
pizza
Play-Doh or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know. Like
right.
Something just completely off the wall.
Exactly.
I've seen the ones recently where they're like, oh, we're just doing a guy's trip. And the woman's worried, but the guys are like dressed up in funky outfits and they're just being completely immature and
right.
dorky. And I'm like, this is how we all are.
Right. It's like, no, they're not even with strippers. They're such dorks. They're like playing Dungeons and Dragons in the Vegas hotel or something.
Right, exactly.
That is funny. That's how my whole dining room is right now. All Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
Good thing you got that big table.
Right? It is. Like there's probably 20 candles, but now they're actually fake candles. They're like battery operated candles because someone took some wax and got it on my red velvet curtains, and I'm like I'm gonna lose it over here. Yeah.
Wait, so nice. Did you replace all your candles in the house with?
No, just the ones on the table, just for the ones for Dungeons and Dragons.
I was going to say, Annabelle's going to get all excited because there was legitimately one time where, like, Crystal's like lighting the candle, and I'm just sitting in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, that's a nice candle. And then she walks out, and then Annabelle walks in, and she's like, oh God, this candle's giving me a migraine. She like blows it out, and we're sitting there talking, and then you come back, and then you're like, oh, my candle went out. Whew, let me.
And I'm like, however, I will say,
I'm just
I don't expect her
watching like.
I don't even expect her to read my mind and know I hate candles. They literally give me migraines. My favorite scent is the absence of scent. Like, to me, that is great. Smells give me a headache. Candles give me a migraine. And I'm like, she knows it and she still does it. And then I will be like, why'd she do that? Is she mad at me? Because that's some like crazy shit women do in their heads, right? I'm like, why does she keep lighting this candle? She knows it gives me a headache. Meanwhile, she's over there like, she didn't even thought about it. She was just like, oh, this candle's nice.
Well, because I like the houses smell wonderful, like, and smell like all nice and fall, like. It has a, I think it's a vanilla pumpkin scent.
No,
right
vanilla's
now.
the absolute worst fake scent. It's the worst fake scent that's ever been created.
Well, so now I know, because after that one time, and I'm like, why does my candle keep going out? There's no breeze in here. The AC is off. There's no fan. And then you kind of got upset, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm just off to the side, like, how many times are we going to blow this out and relight this thing? I just want to see how far it goes.
She's just over there laughing, observing, eating her snack.
And and like whenever she shows up at my house, there's always a candle. And then she's like, oh, you're doing this on purpose. And I'm like,
right?
Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
See, that's women being crazy right there. That's a good example of stuff women do. It's just usually towards men, I think.
Yeah, right? It is. It totally is. All right. So then, I guess that wraps up for having no more candles in my house when you're coming over.
I'll believe it when I see it. Let's see. I mean, if I surprise visit, then that's I understand. But, we'll see.
Okay. We'll make sure there's no surprise visit on that. All right. So that about wraps it up for this week's episode of Irrational Moms, I think. Talking about candles and football.
And snacks.
Oh, and snacks, yes. I'll have better snacks next time. Well, I mean, I think I'm overall the snack. I think we decided that. But exactly. I'll have better other snacks the next time. I was going to make brownies today. Y'all, I just didn't have time. I'm always running late to these things. I don't know how. But next time, brownies.
I'll make you some brownies.
Nice.
Yes. We'll be back with more snacks next time, for sure.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.